Well, hello you wonderful person. Let's go through how to create a reaction timer in PB intervals. So tap the plus button and hit the reaction timer icon. It brings you to this screen. We've got a field for the name, field for the session and round length, field for the interval duration and rest periods and our rounds as well. And further down that's where we add our intervals. So let's give our timer a name and we'll do a color-based one, so colors. And for this, we just want a short round period of, say, a minute. And then we can add our interval duration. And I'll randomize this as we want in a quick reaction thing. We'll do 1/4 of a second as we have hundredths enabled, and up to a maximum of 3 seconds. So our interval calls will be between 1/4 of a second and 3 seconds, somewhere in between there. Then we can decide if we want a rest period and we can randomize that if we want, but for this we don't want anything. And there's a round count here, we can plus and minus that. Let's have 2 rounds for this one. And let's give ourselves 15 seconds of rest between each round. So we're starting to build our timer base there. Now, as it's a reaction timer, we've also got this toggle for hide call duration, because we might not want to know how long the interval is actually lasting. And for this one, that is the case, so let's enable that. And now we're on to the more basic settings. So we can set our color of the icon for the home screen by tapping on these default swatches here. And you might have seen before, you can select your own colors as well by dragging around or typing in a hex code. We can choose a different audio alert. Let's have text to speech, and it doesn't matter which option we choose here actually, because we have hide call duration enabled. And there's also this toggle for vibrate on alert if you wanted that. And then we enter this interval section. Oh, and there's a handy notes field underneath if we needed that for anything. But back to the intervals. So let's say we wanted to add some intervals. Now this could be anything. Circuit exercises like box jumps, wall balls, push-ups, etc. Or maybe some movement things or boxing combinations, or perhaps some rehab coordination exercises, absolutely anything. Let's say you're into martial arts and you're drilling some combinations and those combinations have got code names. Drop those in here and it's going to help build that muscle memory. So when you're competing and your corner or someone is shouting instructions at you, you're going to be able to react and execute those combinations faster. If you are using code names, by the way, make sure that they are the most simple thing to remember. When you're exhausted or under pressure, you want as little cognitive load as possible. So make sure it's really simple on those code names. That's all I'll say on that. This isn't about training techniques, so this is about creating a reaction timer. So I'll jump back into that. And for this example, we were doing colors. So we're kind of replicating those expensive colored light systems. Scatter some colored cones around or stick some tape or stickers on a punch bag and use those as targets and away you go. So we tap add interval. And you can see here we've got the name field. So we're going to use some standard cone colors. The first one can be white. And then we'll choose a screen color, which funnily enough we'll have as white. Let's go back. We've also got this useful max number of calls field here. So let's say you're building a session where you only want to do a particular interval a certain amount of times. You toggle this on and give the maximum number of times it will be called. So maybe this was our favorite burpees, if I can spell burpees, but we did 500 yesterday because it's standard and we don't want to have to do it more than 3 times today. That's how we do that. But we don't need that for this, so I'll reset it. And back. And you can see here we're starting to build something. So let's add some more to our list. Let's add another standard color of red. We've got that there already. Back. Add another. And let's have, let's say, orange. And we'll adjust the screen color so we can have the correct color. There we go. Back again. Let's add another 2. Let's add blue. That's often another standard color. And finally, yellow's usually in there as well. So So you can see we're starting to build up our list of intervals. And what makes this different from using the shuffle option on an interval timer is, firstly, the screen's different, so you won't see the upcoming calls, but also you'll have your list of intervals here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll hear or see them all called. The app's going to randomly call from the list, so you could have 20 things listed here, but you only see 5 of them throughout your session. If we want to raise the likelihood of a particular call coming up, we'd simply duplicate it in the list. That's how you get around that. But we don't need those for this one, so let's get rid of those. And that's it. So give your timer a name, set the session and round length, set your interval duration, adjust the rounds and hide call duration, etc. and add your intervals and your calls, and that's it. And the reaction timer, it's a really, really useful tool for so many different scenarios. So yeah, jump in, set one up and give it a go. That's all there is to it. Enjoy, and as always, stay awesome.
Blue, blue, orange, yellow, yellow, orange, orange, yellow, white, red, red, yellow,